this would have been in Q4 or Q1, so prior to this commission, that have now hit the account in addition to the quarterly. So we are receiving funds from DC government. It is a formula that is based on the number of residents that live in each area. They have a calculation, and a certain dollar amount is allotted per resident. And so that is how that works. This money comes from DC government and is intended to ensure that we're able to run these meetings and do some outreach efforts and have some really community building is what the intention is of these funds. Any questions related to the February monthly?
Commissioner Baker, I just wanted to commend you because I know that this was a lot of accounting that you were doing and making sure that everything is tip-top shape, and very much appreciate the transparency and work that you've put into this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Baker. I wanted to open the floor for our city official comments, starting first with Councilmember Louis George's office. I believe, let me see who we have on the Zoom with us from the Councilwoman's office.
Barbara Rogers, I'm online.
Hello, Ms. Rogers. We can pin you. Hold on one second. Go ahead, Ms. Rogers.
Okay. Good evening, commissioners, and to the community in person as well as online. I just have a few updates. Wanted to give an update on the DC FY25 budget. I think, as we all know, on Friday, the continuing resolution passed Congress. Luckily, the Senate unanimously passed legislation restoring DC's approved FY25 budget and preventing cuts to vital DC programs and services. Councilmember Louis George was on the Hill for most of last week and is so grateful to all of the parents, families, workers who lobbied the Senate on behalf of the district. Right now, DC is continuing operating as normal, and crucial Ward 4 and district projects remain on track. The Senate approved bill now moves to the House, where it will need a majority vote. We are cautiously optimistic as the bill has bipartisan support. So we're grateful to Senator Collins, Van Hollen, and the whole Senate for quickly moving to restore our approved budget. We are now calling on the House to quickly pass this bill to ensure DC can continue providing the funding our city needs to stay safe, healthy, and vibrant. Support for federal workers. Recently, Mayor Bowser rolled out fedsupport.dc.gov, sharing resources for federal workers who have been laid off or impacted by recent cuts. We also want to remind neighbors of resources that are on our website for federal workers impacted by recent actions. There is a link. I will put that link in the chat, but you can go to our website. Ward 4 Senior Bingo. This is an event that we are putting on Thursday, April 3rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're inviting Ward 4 seniors to join us. If you have a senior on your block, please invite them to come out. You do have to RSVP to attend, but they can just give me a call and I'm happy to RSVP on their behalf. We're partnering with DPR. It'll be held at Emory Heights Community Center. It'll be a fun day filled with games, prizes, and we have invited about 7 agencies to come out, so there'll be DC resources for them as well. One more DPW update. I saw Yami on, and I will allow her to give that update. And just finally, we do office hours on every Wednesday. We're at Fort Stevens Recreation Center from noon to 1. And then we go to Hattie Home Wellness Center, Senior Wellness Center from 1:30 to 2:30. So if you ever have any community concerns, you don't have to go down to the Wilson Building. You can come to one of these locations. And finally, sign up for our newsletter that we distribute every Friday afternoon. I'll put that link in the chat as well. That's all I have, and thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers, and please relay our thanks to the councilwoman for being an advocate on behalf of the city's budget. She was on Capitol Hill nonstop last week, so thank you. Wanted to open the floor for my fellow commissioners. Any questions for Ms. Rogers or the councilwoman's office? Hearing none, any community questions for the councilwoman? Can you give the date of the bingo, please, again, Ms. Rogers?
It's April 3rd.
And the RSVP link, we'll get it for folks who are offline as well, since you have to RSVP.
Yes, we include it in our newsletter, and you can also go to our website as well.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, we'll hear from the Mayor's Office of Community Relations. We are going to pin you. Yami, give us 1 second. Whenever you're ready.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Yamaleth Escobar, or Yami. I'm the Ward 4 manager from the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. I know my partner is usually here, Leticia Costa. I believe she's online as well. So just wanted to give you guys a few updates. Most of it is kind of repetitive from what Barbara just shared, but I'll go ahead and try to get through it quickly. As most of you know, on last Friday, March 17th, the mayor held a press conference to provide an update on the impact of the continuing resolution and how it would impact the district. She was joined by Chair Mendelson, Chief Financial Officer Glenn Lee, and members of the council. So the bill did pass. It's called the DC Local Funds Act, which will rectify the problems caused to our budget by the continuing resolutions. And now the mayor just wanted to highlight her partners in Congress and council that are supporting this bill and showing how important it is to keep it going. So now we just need the House to do their part. Another thing that I did want to highlight is an app that was launched today. Mayor Browser and the Deputy of Mayor of Education announced the launch of My Out of School Time DC, which is abbreviation is Most DC portal. This is an online platform where parents can go as a one-stop, find all resources for programs and after-school programs from kindergarten to 12th grade. The program has all programs available by DC Public Schools, DPR, and the Office of Out of School Time Grants of Youth Outcome. So if you guys have kids or family members that know that they need their kids to be doing something while school is out, please point them to most.dc.gov. And in that portal, you can find everything that's available to the kids. And it's most.dc.gov. Another thing is just I wanted to highlight for federal worker resources, DC Health Link will be hosting 2 pop-up events. None of them will be in Ward 4, unfortunately, but it will be in Cleveland Park, which is by the zoo. And that will be on March 26th. And another one will be held on April 18th. From 9:30 to 5:30. And here you'll be able to find, if you guys know any federal employees who are kind of stressed out about, maybe not having health insurance or anything, please point them to that pop-up. Also, of course, there's fedsupport.dc.gov. You can find all available resources on there. And then as for DPW, most of you know that I can never say these together. Sweep street cleaning went to effect March 3rd. That's until October 31st. So this includes, sweep cleaning. So DPW just wants everyone to be aware that this is in effect now. And if you are parked along the side where these signs are up, please make sure to move their cars to the other side, because we don't want anyone to get ticketed, and we don't want the services to get delayed or missed because their vehicles are parked in the street sweep cleaning areas. Another thing, just that I don't know if you guys have noticed, DPW has installed some food waste bins. There's one in front of the Petworth Library. There's another one in front of Jackie Lee's on Kennedy Street. There is a link that you have to access, because there's a pin in order to get access to it. So you can visit zerowaste.dc.gov/foods wasted drop off. I'll put the link in the chat as well. I think it's a pretty cool resource to have if you need somewhere to put your compost. And that's pretty much all that I have. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Baker?
Thank you so much for the updates. I have a really quick question about something that I recently, I think, read or heard about. I'm wondering if you could bring that to the next meeting, either yourself or Letitia, but there is something going around about a pilot program for folks who receive tickets for like driving violations, and something related to a pilot program for low-income residents. And I'm just wondering if you could bring that to the next meeting, if more information about that, if that is actually happening.
Okay. Do you know if that would be any specific agency, whether DMV or just?
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
I
it's
just
okay.
know it's very popular.
Okay, I'll do some digging. And
I'm
I'll
sorry.
circle back.
Thank you.
No, you're fine.
Commissioner Bell?
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is probably DDOT or DPW. I was going to ask another question related to DPW. Now, I assume since wow, that is a hard combination of words. Street sweep is restarted. I wanted to ask about alley cleaning, which usually also gets activated around these times. I typically submit a lot of requests for alley cleaning. Our ANC has one of the most alleys. Every block has an alley or an H-shaped alley. We are an ANC full of alleys. I think there's more alleys than streets in our ANC. And our alleys get really dirty. There's a lot of accumulation of trash, and some of them get really bad. So I try to request alley cleaning through 311. I just wanted to I'm going to do another round of requests and probably highlight some of them to you in future meetings, but just wanted to put the word out that, ANC 4D would really appreciate the alley cleaning team, I guess the street cleaning and alley cleaning team, to really be working on our ANC on that area, because we can directly connect the rat issues we have with alleys that are accumulating in trash. So when we request additional tickets, we really would love attention to that. So just wanted to raise that. Thank you.
Okay, sure. And if you have any 311 requests that are pending or anything and haven't been resolved for whatever reason, please feel free to flag that for me. I'll drop my information in the chat and just bring it to my attention so we can get some answers for all of them.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Hi, Commissioner Koskenrota, 4001. I have an issue that I've noticed here at, it's actually right next door to the DC Senior Building at 809 Kennedy Street Northwest. This is the a construction site and I think the street address is either 813 or 815 Kennedy Street Northwest. They have had fits and starts with this building or this construction project, and it has been abandoned for several months again. And with this rain that we've had, I've just noticed that what is supposedly the foundation of the new building, it is just full of water. And it's just sitting there. And while it's cold, it might not be an issue, but we're just a few weeks or months away from it getting warm again. And this would be a major harborage of mosquitoes. So my question is, who would be the most appropriate person or agency to bring this to so that these kind of dormant construction projects could be addressed so that they don't affect, or have adverse effects to the neighborhood? Thank you.
Yes, so I will be happy to stop by and take some pictures, but the agency that I will be referring it to is the Department of Buildings, DOB, so they'll be able to see what's going on, what's the holdup, what are they doing. There's only a certain amount of time that buildings can be without, movement and without explanation. So I'll definitely make sure to flag that building.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll send you an email also with some of the pictures from the behind the building, because I
Okay,
don't
yes.
think you can really see it from the street. So I'll send you.
I'll walk around. I am always
All right.
walking, so
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
be in
find
there. I'll
places.
find it.
Excellent. I'll follow up with you online via email so we can
Awesome.
kind of coordinate. Thank you very much.
Okay. No problem.
Any other commissioners? I do have a question, but okay. Let me just wrap this up. Ms. Escobar, I wanted to make sure that I understood correctly. The city administrator said that because the Senate, essentially the CR passed, the Senate passed the fix, it still has to go to the House. Am I correct in understanding the city administrator says that we can hold off on any budget cuts to give a chance for the House bill to go through? So essentially nothing will happen until they return from recess, and there is a chance for that bill to go through. Do you know if that's correct? That is my understanding, that there's no impacts to the budget yet, even though technically it has passed. Is that correct?
From my understanding, yes.
Okay.
I'll double check it to make sure that I'm not getting you false information, but from my understanding, I believe so.
Okay. And then lastly, I just wanted to express appreciation for all the 311 help with holiday tree pickup and all of that. And then also, please give our thanks to the mayor for her advocacy on the budget issue. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
We don't have much time because I want to make sure we talk about the bulk of the time, but are there any questions for the mayor's office and community relations?
Yes,
Ms. Wesley?
I have a question. Good evening. I hope this question is appropriate to you. How can we I've talked to your office last year. We have a trash, we have a bag for the dog bags, but there's no key and the containers are rusty. And it's causing a lot of poop issues in the park because people don't have the bags. Is that something that you could help with or what?
Miss Wesley, which park is this?
Lorenzo Allen
Lorenzo
Park,
Allen? Okay.
Illinois Avenue, Northwest.
Okay. Yeah. If you would like to just maybe DM me your number just so I can follow up, I can look into who has the keys and who manages
Okay.
that that box, and
Okay.
provide an update.
So I see your number. I'll text you in a few minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next question from here in the audience. Go ahead.
I don't think the mic is on.
Thank you. Piggybacking on what Zella said regarding the Lorenzo Allen Park, we've been also noticing a lot of dogs there unleashed. From the very beginning, we've asked if we could get signs going all the way around the park stating the rules and regulations. What are the chances of that happening? Then also with the trash cans around the park, lots of times, and I don't mind because I'm tired of seeing the poop bags, I will pick it up and put it in the trash can. And I guess then this is a two-part question. When DPW or whomever does pick up the trash, can they not pick up those bags as well? If only thing they do is empty the containers and keep moving. If I sometimes even see them drop them and they don't even pick them up. We need to address that because it's getting bad and the weather's changing now. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And we'll look into that matter. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thanks for flagging. I'll definitely, Lorenzo Allen has been on the top of our stops because of illegal dumping and the trash overflows and all that. So I'll definitely circle back.
Okay, let's see here. Ken, next we're going to be sharing the screen for 40 ANC because there's going to be a presentation. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to DC Water to talk about the Clean Rivers Project. I believe we have, let's see here. I apologize.
Yes.
Are you there? There you are, Mr. Galley. Okay.
Yep, I'm here. Yes, DC Water wants to thank the Chair Kaufman and the rest of the commissioners for giving us the opportunity to present the DC Clean Rivers Green Infrastructure Rock Creek Project C. Before we get started, I just want to briefly introduce the team. Seth Chard is our senior manager for green infrastructure at DC Clean Rivers. Taylor Hopt is our project manager. Scott Sylvester is our design engineer, and Eric Lunhard is our engineer of record. And with that, I want to turn over to Scott Sylvester, who will be making the presentation this evening. Thank you.
Yes. Hello, commissioners and residents of ANC 4D. Yeah, Andy, thank you for the introduction. And yeah, well, I'll be just talking about the implementation of Rock Creek Project C. We met around this time last year to give everyone what our plan was for the next round of alley permeable pavement facilities that we plan to construct over the next 2 years. So next slide, please. So here's a look at the project from a district wide level. We have 8 different areas, including Area 4D, which is right in the middle of that watershed map on the right side of the screen. And we're managing 25 impervious acres with these permeable alleys instead of your traditional curb and gutter. Storm drain goes into the main line, which goes into a water main, which goes to a combined sewer overflow. We're building these permeable alleys to kind of interrupt that, well, not interrupt, but like slow the shock of the, like during a high intensity rain event that overwhelms these combined sewer overflows and ends up discharging directly into Rock Creek and the Potomac River. So we want to prevent that. And part of that is using this green infrastructure to lessen the impact of those events. So construction is set to start this year, and we're actually gearing up for next month, starting on the first alleys. For Area 4D, construction is going to be occurring from August of 2025 to January of 2026. Next slide. And here is the project Area 4D1. I'm sure you're aware of the project or of your neighborhood makeup, residential row houses, low density commercial properties. But it's your neighborhood and we want to make it better with these green alleys. So 14 of these alley facilities are being constructed within 6 different alley locations. And you can see on the right the map of the different locations. The alleys we'll be working in are highlighted in bright green, and you have the facility numbers next to them. So everyone can get a good look at that. And next slide, please. So this is what it looks like when it's fully built. And in the middle, you have a nice diagram showing how these facilities capture water from flowing from impermeable surfaces. And when we say that, we mean like rooftops, asphalt, concrete, stuff that doesn't really allow the water when it rains to naturally go into the soil. So we try to simulate that by consolidating the flow into these facilities and then slowly discharging back into the sewer system. And next
Mr.
slide,
Sylvester,
please.
I just want to give you
Yes.
a 30-second warning so that we
Oh.
have time for Q&A for you as well.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So this is more of yeah. So we have just the important stuff here. You'll notice some construction. There'll be signage and barriers and fencing, traditional construction site notifications in your alley. We will not disrupt water and sewer services. We will not disrupt trash pickup services, though we may ask you to move your trash can or recycling bin to the front of the property on the street side instead of the alley side. And if there's any ADA requirements, we're pretty sure we have avoided those, but if you have ADA concerns, accessibility concerns, please reach out on the hotline. Next slide. And we'll have maintenance trucks going through once the alley is complete in January 2026, just making sure it's clean, free of trash and debris. And any other information you need on the alley that's been constructed, we'll have these little placards on the front and end of each end of these facilities. Next slide. And here is an example of the mailers we'll send out. This has all the project information on about 4D1. They'll be distributed about 2 weeks to the affected residents before construction starts. And you can find all the other information about this project on the websites. And if you have a question, please email us.
Thank you so much. And they're beautiful. I've seen one in our alley actually, and they're lovely. So I appreciate it. Want to open up the floor for commissioner questions? I'm sorry, Commissioner Bell, there you are.
Yeah, quick question. I didn't realize I have one behind my building as well. And it's actually often one side of the alley has it, the other one does not. And the side that has the facility is often cleaner. And are you saying that we could specifically, if we particularly notice a facility that is might need more additional cleaning, we could request it directly from DC? Did I get that right? Or could you say more about
we
that?
encourage that, actually. It's I mean, your everyday resident, they're our best eyes and ears on like how our facilities are performing. So yeah, like you can just email directly your concern to cleanriversgi@dcwater.com. I believe there's also a number you can call, but really email's the best way, just so we have like a written record of everything. And yeah, if you notice issue like pooling, it's not draining right, there's a bunch of trash, anything that doesn't look right, please let us know and we'll send out a crew to take care of it.
When alley cleaning is usually done, it's only done March through some September or something. Are you saying you do all year round?
So there's been we have expanded our kind of maintenance schedule. So as far as correct, so there's two different kinds of maintenance. There's preventive maintenance, which is your kind of standard street sweeping, just making sure it's clean. That occurs all year round. For corrective maintenance, those types of issues also get worked year round, but like as far as the like intensity of checks, that happens in from March to September. So we have a more like regular like interval of checks during that time period because it's warmer and more issues are going to happen anyway during that time. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
No other commissioner comments or any questions? Community comments, any questions? I don't see any online. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We will also update our agenda with this so people can see it online, as well as spread the word in our particular SMDs. So I appreciate you joining us, Mr. Gali, Mr. Sylvester, and just appreciate the work that you do.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move to commissioner announcements. Wanted to open the floor for commissioners to share any items.
I have something really quick. So some of you know that I'm involved with the Brightwood Family Success Center and the Georgia Avenue Family Support Collaborative. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that resource for the community. They just had their grand opening last week. It's a beautiful facility, and it's a great resource for the community. There's kids area, there's a computer lab. They can help with tax support, job support, all kinds of resources. So just wanted to give them a quick plug. And I know Dr. Faye Anderson from that project is also online as well. So Dr. Anderson, if you don't mind putting your information in the chat for anyone who wants to learn more about the Family Success Center, I think that would be great.
Thank you, Brandy. I already did. And thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
This is Commissioner Cava. My announcement has to do with, it's not actually in my single member district, but I serve also on the board of the Barnard Elementary School, which will be undergoing construction to build a new wing along the Decatur Street side of their block. And there will be a public meeting to learn about that addition, that construction project, Wednesday, April 9th at 6 p.m. at the school at 430 Decatur Street. So if you live nearby or you're interested in what the construction process will be like, please do come to that meeting to learn more from DCPS and DGS.
And one more thing from me, speaking of schools, you just reminded me, Commissioner Cava, with the Truesdale project that has been ongoing, they will have a community meeting for that, for teachers, staff, parents, and community coming up on Thursday, April 24th from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And that's an in-person meeting. It's Thursday, April 24th from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And that's all I have.
Seeing no announcements from commissioners online, I have two myself. One, Washington Latin School, which is where we're meeting, has a blood drive that's happening on April 22nd from 3 to 7 here in the gym. We will share information on the agenda as well, and encourage people, if you can give and donate, to do so. Additionally, I wanted to state that I think we've all seen what happens when we all know that DC's autonomy, our home rule, is under attack. And this is a moment where it's important for people to have a means to organize together, to raise our voices, to advocate for policies that maintain our autonomy here as a district. And Free DC is doing a lot of community organizing. You can go to their website. They have a very active group here in 4D. And they had, I mean, I think it was 1,000 folks who were on Capitol Hill lobbying, and I think deserve a huge amount of credit, along with Harriet Stream and other organizations, for the success in the Senate bill to provide a fix. So just wanted to give that organization a shout out. If you haven't checked them out, please do. And we'll add the website in the chat as well. Go ahead.
And they are having a Ward 4 community kickoff coming up soon, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. In addition to serious business, on Sunday, March 30th, 1 to 3 p.m. at Rhizome in Tacoma, the art studio collective.
The Truesdale meeting is Thursday, April 24th, 4:30 to 5:30 PM. And it looks like they did not share the location with me, so I can follow up with, I'll confirm that with them and follow up with you.
Thank you, Commissioners. We have one item of old business before moving on to new business. The matter is regarding BZA 21271, which is regarding 5113 Second Street Northwest. This is in my SMD. It is to construct 2 additional dwelling units to an existing semi-detached 2-story. This is within the RA1 zone, which is small apartment building zoning. They seek a special exemption, which is required to do the 2 additional units that they would like to build. We heard from them last month. I know that I believe I saw the applicant on the Zoom. I just wanted to state that I have a form that I'll be asking for commissioners to vote on. I recommend voting to endorse the application. I think it's in keeping with the RA1 zoning. Additionally, it will be more housing for ANC 4D. Research has shown that more housing leads to more affordable housing. As more housing is available, prices are more affordable to folks. There was concerns that the neighbors lifted up regarding rats. I believe that the applicant has indicated how they have a back patio that they are going to be fixing. The trash receptacles will be on top of that. That will help, prevent rats burrowing underneath. So I feel like that they've worked to address those concerns. And my recommendation is to endorse their application. Are there any questions from commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Baker.
Yes, I know at the last meeting, there were a few concerns elevated by residents. I'm not sure if you or maybe the owner can speak to in what ways they intend to mitigate some of those risks or concerns that were elevated.
Yes, for sure. So the concerns, when we had the neighbors attend, they spoke, and for folks who weren't here at the last meeting, they spoke specifically concerning that, 2 additional units could help contribute to more waste. More waste could contribute to the rat problem. And so they wanted to make sure that, they were supporters of additional housing. They just wanted to make sure that they were taking measures to ensure that trash was being managed. One item that they pointed out was making sure if there was a concrete pad underneath the trash receptacles, that would prevent rat burrowing. So I feel that the applicants have, and that was a question I specifically posed to the applicant, I feel like that they've worked to address that and have not heard any further concern from the neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any community questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I think we can move on to new business. We will vote on that matter at the end along with other motions. Oh, thank you, Commissioner Blewett. Okay, so apologies. There we go. Okay, so now into new business. The first item, and I think that we can get to this rather quickly, is a proposed zoning text amendment regarding the definition of youth residential care homes. Essentially, this is about zoning commission case number 24-19 that proposes text changes to align zoning with district law. So that would allow foster homes to continue to serve foster youth up to the age of 21. Right now, there's kind of a gap, and it's making it hard for foster homes to continue because they can't get the right permit. So that means that they're not going to be able to continue to have a license to serve these youth. I have a proposed letter of support that I have shared with the commissioners that I ask you to vote on. We also have Ms. Minor, who is on the line from Children and Family Services Agency. There she is. Okay. Give us 1 second, Ms. Minor. We will pin you. But you can unmute yourself and speak. We'll also get actually, we have your deck. That's what we're waiting on. I apologize. We have your deck. Give us 1 second.
Okay. Is that, okay.
I have had very little caffeine today, so appreciate your patience. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure. Let me start. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, for having me, giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Desiree Minor. I'm a supervisor with Child and Family Services. I supervise the Office of Facility Licensing. That unit is responsible for licensing group homes and independent living programs. So the purpose of my participation this evening is to provide information to the public, specifically the 4D ANC, regarding a zoning regulation that is affecting our older youth in care over the age of 18. Next slide, please. As you know, Child and Family Services is responsible for the district's children for child welfare and those youth that are in foster care. Next slide. Now, in the district, a child can remain in foster care up until the age of 21, generally until they obtain permanency, either through adoption or guardianship. They leave foster care, for example, they enter the military, or they just age out and turn 21. Next slide. Now, while they're in care, we do provide for our older youth. We provide them with opportunities to develop life skills so that they can become independent, help them to gain access to housing, as well as make that transition into adulthood. Next slide. Now, the issue at hand is that CFSA petitioned the Zoning Commission to amend the definition for a youth residential care home. And the next slide will show what that definition is. I'm not going to read it, but I just wanted to point out that the current definition is for youth that are under the age of 18. We proposed a change to the definition that will align with the law and the district's policy to include those youth that are 18 to 20 years old. Okay, next slide. And in the custody of Child and Family Services. So presently, we license residential facilities for youth that are in care in conjunction with the Youth Residential Facilities Licensure Act. Now, in this act, it specified that foster children go up to the age of 21 or under 21. When they turn 21, they age out of care. Now, before CFSA can license a home, this is a group home, the home or the facility needs a certificate of occupancy, and that's obtained from the Department of Buildings. In 2023, the Department of Buildings told us that they could no longer issue a certificate of occupancy for group homes that serve youth between the ages of 18 to 20. And so that really caused a problem for us because we have youth in care up until age 21. And their definition is that a youth in foster care is under the age of 18, and that's just not the case. So next slide, please. So why did we request the zoning definition to be amended? One, to allow CFSA to continue to license group homes for older youth. And of course, that process has been in place for years. It will align with the zoning regulations. It will align the zoning regulations with district law, which allows for the licensure of group homes for older youth. And it will allow CFSA to fulfill its statutory duty to provide care for these young people until they age out or obtain permanency. Next slide, please. So we are hoping that we can count on 4D ANC for your support. There is a hearing has been set for May 1st with the Zoning Commission. I believe it's at 4 o'clock, but that's when there should be a permanent decision made whether the regulations will be changed or not. So I would
be happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead, Commissioner Kava.
Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Kaufman, for bringing this to our attention. I remember you had said in our executive meeting that there was some number of older youth group homes in our district that meet this, that have this problem, right? They're about to be relicensed. Can you tell us?
I believe in our ward. I don't know that they are in 4D, but Ms. Minor, perhaps you can speak to that.
Yeah, Ms. Minor, can you just share with us if there are any homes with this specific situation in our ANC?
Well, there's one that I'm aware of,
Okay.
that it falls within your ANC.
Thank you.
So, sure.
Any commissioners online that have questions? Any community comments? Yeah, online. I see none. Ms. Minor, as I mentioned to you, I once lived in foster care. I very much appreciate you flagging this. I urge the commissioners to vote yes on our letter of support, and I appreciate your time, Ms. Minor.
Sure, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Moving on to the next item, we have the next item is Commissioner Blewett regarding the reinstatement of MPD officers involved in the killing of Kayron Hilton Brown.
Thank you. And I'm just getting my resolution pulled up so that I can correctly speak to it. Give me one moment. Okay, I've got it. I'm good. So this resolution that I've brought today is, like Commissioner Kaufman said, regarding the reinstatement of officers who were involved in the murder of Kayron Hilton Brown. In this resolution, I just describe what happened in the situation with the officers being indicted or found guilty of second-degree murder and guilty of conspiracy to obstruct and obstruction of justice, respectively. And then just also noting that these two officers did receive presidential pardons and then were reinstated by the Metropolitan Police Department. We did reach out to MPD to ask and request that Chief Smith or a proxy would be able to attend our meeting this evening because we have, several questions about how this reinstatement was possible and even, watching and following the recent performance oversight hearing last week, where there were just several comments made that we had additional questions about. And unfortunately, they did say that Chief Smith was unable to attend and that they were unable to send anyone from MPD to answer our questions. So we are hoping that this resolution will be a positive step forward in having some of our questions answered. And we also are requesting that Officer Sutton nor Lieutenant Zabavsky be stationed within the 4th District. We're requesting that MPD clarify what the training and discipline that takes place for any officers who do not follow the department's vehicular pursuit policy. And we're requesting that MPD indicate the number of instances of vehicular pursuits and use of force cases in ANC 4D and the 4th District broadly during the last quarter and the calendar year of 2024. So Commissioner Kaufman and I are co-sponsoring this resolution, so would greatly appreciate the support of the commission so that we can move forward in, one, improving community relations, but also ensuring that we hold the system accountable when the justice system does decide there has been wrongdoing that has taken place.
Commissioner Blewett, as a co-sponsor, may I speak a little bit on this? So, one thing is that, these officers were pardoned. However, they committed serious misconduct in obstruction of justice that really erodes at the community trust that is required for policing to be effective, to have a connection with the community. And to me, it was essential that we make clear that this is not acceptable and for the force that is supposed to be protecting us. Another thing that I want to call out here is that Chief Smith stated before the DC Council in that testimony on March 11th that there was no cover-up, that there was no obstruction of justice, and that really created further questions for me as a commissioner. And I was really disappointed that in all of MPD, no one could attend this meeting remotely even. It's a hybrid meeting. I think our actions and our advocacy will not necessarily stop with just a resolution, but it is a pin and a marker and a place for us to start. And I appreciate your leadership on this issue, Commissioner Blewett. Are there any questions for Commissioner Blewett from the commissioners or comments? Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, just a general question. Have you had a chance to speak with maybe the one of the commanders in Ward 4 or attend any of the Citizens Advisory Council meetings that are held on Thursdays?
Yes, so I did attend the Sector 1 meeting last week that Commander Lavenhouse was on. And there was a question, someone beat me to my question. Someone else had asked about the situation, and she did direct them to the, there's a general kind of media relations email that MPD uses. So she was not able to speak on it or answer any questions directly because of their media policy.
Okay, thank you.
And perhaps another thing that I heard from this also is that they cannot speak on personnel issue, that where the officers will be assigned is considered a personnel issue. And so that is one question that I've heard asked in a number of ways that hasn't been answered yet.
Okay, and then I just one more really quick question. This alleged obstruction of justice, and I'm using that term intentionally. Is that a change from the previous sort of the hearing earlier? Like sort of why is it now being considered obstruction of justice? Was it previously also considered obstruction and now it's no longer being considered? Is that
That's
the
correct.
conflict?
Correct, yes.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, and in my view, regardless of whether obstruction of justice was pardoned, it is still behavior that is a serious infraction of MPD policies. And so that should, in my view, and as we've communicated in the resolution, should constitute something that is, it does not allow reinstatement, pure and simple. Commissioner Cava?
Thank you. I wanted to share, this is not a question, this is a comment. When we as a commission and Commissioner Blewett brought this to our attention very early in our time together this year, we began considering such a resolution in January. We decided, I suggested we table until we had a chance to meet the family of Kyron Hilton Brown. And then we also originally were not going to bring this resolution today because we had invited MPD and we wanted to give them a chance to speak with us before we brought the resolution forward. I'm very supportive, since they chose not to come, that we do go ahead and move the resolution. And I wanted to share that I was actually met Ms. Karen Hilton last month in person. Her pain, she spoke publicly at the loss of her son, was immense and palpable and justified. Whatever he may have or may not have done in his short life, he should not have lost his life. That's fundamentally what we're talking about here, that policing that causes a loss of life loses trust in the community, full stop. So I'm very satisfied that we're moving this resolution. Thank you for putting it together. We did invite the Hilton Brown family to come tonight. And they knew that we were moving, that we were interested in moving such a resolution forward, and Ms. Hilton offered her support.
Commissioner Bell?
Thank you. Thank you for your work on this, and I'm happy to support and will do so. I think this is a very well written. I do want to suggest and hear thoughts on a few amendments I would like to make to this when we get to the stage in the voting. One amendment is to include myself as authorized to represent on this case.
That'll be a
Uh,
friendly amendment.
I appreciate that. As you know, this incident and occurred in my SMD, or is, I think it crossed over into two, but that's one amendment that I would like to propose. A second one, probably a little bit more controversial, would be that we add a fourth request to MPD. After asking that they not be sessioned in the 4th District, we add a new line, which I propose that we request that the Metropolitan Police Department immediately terminate the employment of Officer Sutton and Lieutenant Zabowski. I believe if we are expressing our disapproval of their reinstatement, I think it is in order for us to request their termination. That would be the second amendment that I would propose, and I would love to hear if I am under the wrong impression, and when anybody wants to push back on and prevent me from proposing that amendment, I would love to hear that. The third amendment that I would like to offer is probably even more controversial, and it is to remove the fifth whereas statement altogether. The reason I want to remove this, and I will read what it says currently: whereas police misconduct damages the relationship between police and the communities they serve, and officers protecting the residents of the District of Maryland must conduct themselves in a manner that builds and restores trust. While I will continue to support this resolution if this remains, I think I don't think this whereas statement is necessary, and it accepts the premise that police serve the community or improve the community, or that there is trust to be restored at all. I don't think police increase safety or are a necessary part of our society. So I would like to request that we amend to remove this clause altogether. While if there is resistance to that, I will continue to support this resolution. So I just those three things that I wanted to offer, and I wanted to hear other commissioners' thoughts on that. And sorry for springing this on folks. I know we've been discussing this for a while, and we should have.
Commissioner Bell, with your second amendment, which is to call for the termination, agree that if this all follows, that should be the thing we're calling for. I think, though, it should replace the first resolved, because if the first one says that they shouldn't be working anywhere in the 4th District. If that's your amendment, I think your amendment should be to replace that first resolved with the termination language that you have. Does that make sense?
That
Because
is
then they
also
don't-
agreeable with me,
Yeah.
but I was just
I
trying
just
to.
was pointing out we wouldn't work together.
Yeah. I was
Or to
assuming that they
strike and
would.
Yeah.
I was assuming that the request to terminate would be rejected, and the other would be an alternative. But yes, I agree with you that a replacement as an amendment would be also a good idea. Yeah.
I see that Commissioner Baker has and then I want to go to community comments because I know that there are others.
I'll just be really quick. I do want to thank you all for pulling this together. I want to second Commissioner Bell's changes. I actually agree with all of those. My interpretation of the change to terminate was perceived as procedural, meaning not be in the 4th District while they also, whatever that process looks like, to pursue termination. So that is sort of my interpretation. But everything else makes a lot of sense to me, and I would love to see us have more discussion about making those few changes if possible.
So I we asked MPD to be here today so that we could have asked our questions and they chose not to be here. And having read the 13-page indictment, my question would have been that, looking at the same evidence, how can MPD's own internal investigations come to a completely different end result than the court of law would? And how could they not find obstruction on the officer's part? And furthermore, like, how does that discrepancy in outcomes, what kind of conclusions should the public draw from MPD's ability to actually enforce the law correctly? Personally, I'm disappointed and disagree with the reinstatement of these officers, and not just in 4D, but I don't think that they should be in any kind of public facing role anywhere in the department. That being said, in our exec meeting, we agreed to table this until April. And at that time, there was no talk of like, if they don't show up. So I feel like this was sprung on the commission in just like few hours this afternoon. And kind of as just witnessed that we're making amendments on the fly. So as of now, I will vote to abstain because I just feel like we should have had a little more time to converse as a group and prepare this. So thank you.
I just want to say I appreciate my fellow commissioners' thoughts. Commissioner Abell, I'm aligned with the amendments as proposed. And I appreciate your comments as well. And I just want to also note that, like Commissioner Cava said, this has been something that I brought up since January when we first met as a commission. So understand that we did discuss at the time to potentially table this to April. We know that this is a very, this is a situation that evolves very quickly, and especially with Chief Smith's recent comments last week that made it a little bit more timely, which is why Commissioner Kaufman and I thought that it would be appropriate to bring up, given that it is mid-March. And again, we have, reached out to the family to ensure that they were supportive and aligned with us even bringing this up. That's why, we extended the invitation to MPD to attend and they declined. So understand that it may have been rushed or last minute, but given this has been something we have discussed in various forms over the last few months, I did feel, and Commissioner Kaufman did feel, it was appropriate to bring up here. And noting that it is perfectly acceptable and within Robert's Rules of Orders to make amendments during the public meeting as well. So those are my comments. Thank you.
I appreciate the commissioner comments. Do you have an additional question before I go with community?
No additional questions, but I want to add to what it was already said. I do also feel that a lot of things can happen in the last few hours. This is an evolving issue, and things are happening as we talk. And I also think that we previously agreed on tabling this until April. And I do not feel comfortable proceeding with the changes that had been made in the last couple of hours.
I just have a quick question for my commissioners. And I did say we could table it until April, but my question is, what's going to be the difference between tabling this to April if we are aligned with the amendments that Commissioner Abell put forward? Like it would be the same text of the resolution. So what would be the difference?
And point of order, there will be votes on each of the amendments. And so whether the amendments make it up or down, then we will vote on however it is, yes, whatever version it is with or without amendments, and then it gets adopted. So I just want to make sure that folks are clear on that. Okay, apologies, Ms. Jackson Wesley, you've been very patient. Go ahead.
Thank you. What I'd like to say first is that I don't think it's fair to the public for the conversation, if you all voted that it will happen in April, then it should happen in April. Because that took up a lot of time. And I had an incident with the police, and I know I've been dealing with them 5 days in a row and just got to speak to someone yesterday about someone kind of breaking my house. And as a Washingtonian, I don't have the positive uh, interactions with the police in DC, and the follow through that they do in 4D, I've never been happy with. So I feel as though I thought tonight I could say something to, I think her name was House or whatever. And I think I know everybody's name up there. It's just, it's breaks in our system, period. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comment. Any community comments from here in the room before I go to any additional Zoom comments? There's a mic and I think it's on. Hold 1 second for, we have a gentleman in the room who's going to, go ahead. Just letting folks know on Zoom, we have a gentleman who's speaking. So give us 1 second here in the room. Go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to know if the text was online for us to look at already. I didn't check at the meeting before I got here.
Yes, so we put the resolution in our public agenda. It's available for review there.
And it's
Okay,
anc4d.org.
all right, and being the resolution, it's just signed by the group here. It's not signed by the residents of the ward. Is that the way it's produced?
Correct, it's the commission.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All right, thanks.
I see Zach Israel. Mr. Israel, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair Kaufman and the rest of the commissioners. I just want to say that, as many of you know, I'm a former ANC 40 commissioner myself. And in fact, I was elected in November 2020, literally less than a month after this tragic incident occurred. And it was only a block north of my SMD at the time, 4004. But one thing I just wanted to offer, and I'll be honest, I haven't read the text of the resolution. Fully support 4D opining on this. It's completely relevant to what's happening right now. But I just urge you all not to let the mayor and the DC Council as an institution off the hook here. I want to be very clear too that Mayor Bowser has tacitly been supportive of the pardons happening. Even though she hasn't been really public about it, it's pretty clear that she's been supportive of it and hasn't really pushed back at the reinstatement of these officers. And I think that should be acknowledged on the record as part of this resolution. And then secondarily, if the DC Council actually had the political fortitude and courage to do it, as part of the budget legislation later this year, they could put language in that basically prohibits MPD from using any of our taxpayer money to reinstate anyone who had previously committed a felony, which would cover these two officers even though they've been pardoned. So if the council was really determined to prevent these two people from ever serving again in MPD, which I fully support, they could do it if they had the political will. And I don't know that they do. But if you're going to pass a resolution like this is additional language I would really encourage you all to seriously consider including. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Commissioner Israel. Commissioner Blewett, I can tell, is losing her voice, so I'm going to say this for her, which is she is planning on testifying at an upcoming hearing regarding this, and that is items that we can and should touch on in any testimony, especially holding the mayor and the DC Council to account for this as well. So thank you. I appreciate those comments. Commissioner Abell?
That reminds me, and that I think that actually explains why we should do this. Could you name what the dates of such a testimony would be? Because I would love to empower Commissioner Blewett to have this resolution in hand for that testimony.
While Commissioner Blewett is unlocking her phone and looking up that date, it is after this meeting, but before our next one.
Which goes to the point of why we should do this now rather than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Abell. Any other community comments, community questions? Very much appreciate the conversation, the care and intention with which everyone shared their thoughts and asked questions. I appreciate it. Commissioner Blewett is still looking up that date, but we will put it in the chat if that is okay, Commissioner Bell. I have gotten locked out of the computer, so I'm going to next go to, on my very tiny screen, a resolution concerning maximum flexibility in RA1 zoning regulations. I have a proposed resolution that I have sent to the commissioners. This is in line with the Office of Planning's presentation on recommended changes for RA1 zoning. Essentially, this really encourages maximum flexibility. You know, we made a vote on a BZA application earlier regarding RA1 units. You know, the intention of RA1 housing is to support these small apartment buildings. So it seems somewhat unnecessary to bring forth every, construction of such a unit to, you know, forcing them to go through the application process, having it go through the additional 3 months of going through the ANC process. So this is a resolution encouraging maximum flexibility in keeping with the OP's recommendations. I just wanted to see if there are any questions that the commissioners had regarding that, comments or questions from the community. Commissioner Cava.
I'll just share that I also attended the presentation from the Office of Planning teaching us about this, and I think I'm totally in support. It made sense what they were talking about to make sure that this flexibility, which is still quite limited, exists within this zoning type.
Thank you, Commissioner Cava. Any other comments or questions? Moving on to the next item, the endorsement of testimony on behalf of ANC 4D before the DC Council Performance Oversight Hearing on the District of Columbia Public Library System. The previous, last year, ANC 4D passed a resolution encouraging the development of a Kennedy Street Library and empowered a commissioner to speak. I believe it was Commissioner Bell who's the commissioner who is empowered to speak on behalf of the resolution. Commissioner Blewett was available to testify to keep things on the up and up. Her well-written testimony has been submitted to the commissioners, asking that you endorse it on behalf of 4D since she was representing all of us. And did you want to speak a little bit, Commissioner Blewett, about what you were talking about?
Yes, so some of you know that instead of a full-on library, DCPL has proposed a community commons. So I submitted commentary around clarifying what a community commons looks like and what it could look like if there is, you know, so much interest in the community commons, then what would it take to kind of have those full library services that other wards have access to. And I also talked about just some recent studies and recent articles that point to the importance of third spaces in a community. So a place that's not school or work or home, and why it's important for communities and overall social support. So yes, my written testimony is available and hopefully look forward to working with DCPL to determine what some kind of version of library services looks like, although we as a commission are in support of a full service library on Kennedy Street.
The question is, where on Kennedy?
I think, and please commissioners correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the space that was previously identified was the old theater going towards Kennedy and 3rd Street.
If I may, there are a number of possible potential, there's no settled, but the property you mentioned is one. There's another property closer to 7th that's also been looked at. The original 5 million before it went down to 2 million for property purchase, identified, just gave the mayor's office to identify and find a property from anywhere from 13th to 3rd, but it was always understood it would be on this side of Georgia. But it is much more flexible. The language is much more flexible on where, but there are a few properties that have been identified. But yeah, I think we often don't talk about any single property because that affects negotiations on the purchase of the property. So, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. Thank you, Commissioner Blewett. Any other questions regarding that item? Seeing none on Zoom, none in the room. The last is, I'm going to hand it over to you, Commissioner Baker, to talk about an April 12th block party.
Thank you. I'll keep my remarks brief because I actually want my constituent who's co-leading these efforts with me to speak. So I don't know if you are there, Sherry Thurston, aka Orange Diva.
I am here. Good evening, everyone. Everyone's doing well. Thank you all for letting me speak on this. To get started, I have been here in this community for 8 years, almost 9. And I don't recall us having a day where we bring out the community and get to know who our neighbors are. I think it's time that we introduce ourselves to ourselves. We're living in a time where we're going to need to know who our neighbors are because we're going to need people to care for us and we're going to have to care for others. So this community day would be the opportunity to bring everyone out. The winter was brutal, so hopefully the weather will hold up and be beautiful. And just let each other know who we are in the community, how we can help each other in our community and build a network that we're going to need for our future moving forward. And we have new neighbors. I've seen more new neighbors come in. We have new ANC. So it's time to introduce everyone to everyone. I know pretty much all of my neighbors because, during the pandemic, I ended up with a dog. So walking him, he's a very handsome guy. We get a lot of attention. And so I know my neighbors in the 2-mile radius. And so I want everyone else to feel that community spirit that I feel. We had 2 incidents where it could have ended pretty bad for both Tyson and I, but because the neighbors came out of their homes and a block away when they heard the commotion to come and check on us and protect us. So I think it's just time that we come together and start caring about the people that we live with and around.
Well said. The only thing I'll add to that is I am obviously in support of us doing this event, especially given the time we're in. And so I'm going to be seeking a vote today for, I think it's a little less than $1,000 to cover just the cost of DPR has required fees that I'm in the process of attempting to get a waiver on that are over $600 for us to have that triangle park space. And then a few $100, I think it was $350 for just some materials. So like balloons, some posters, just so people know where we are that day, and then trash for post cleanup. So that's pretty much it for that. Any questions for either myself or Orange Diva?
Commissioner Cava?
Yes, first of all, Miss Orange Diva Thurston, I hear you saying that we should all get to know each other and support each other better, but your story of your neighbors coming out to support you when something happened on your walk is heartwarming. Like that's amazing. It's wonderful that that's the way the neighborhood is and should be and can continue to be. So thank you for continuing to support that for all of us. Which location? My question is, you said April 12th.
So the date is set?
Yeah, it's Triangle Park, Fourth, Gallatin, and Kansas.
Got it. And would the idea be that it's kind of oriented around that single member district, or would we advertise it 4D wide?
It is, most of the advertisements will be for the single member district based on the permit and the amount of people, but we're not turning anyone away.
Great.
Obviously, and also just tied to DC code for the sake of transparency. If we ask 4D for a budget, it
Oh, that's right.
extends. It sort of can be intended for a group, but it extends. So if somebody's walking by and wants to stop by, we're gonna have bring your own chairs, bring your own games kind of thing. Like really, it's meant to be low stakes. Just get people out of the house. There's a lot going on. Say hi to a stranger, say hi to someone that you live next to, and just come out and say what's up. We're not turning anyone away.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Ms. Baker, you have a community question. And ma'am, let me get you the microphone so others can hear.
Hello, my name is Valerie Frederick. I live on Illinois Avenue. Can you be a little more specific about the location? Because you said something about Kansas Avenue and 4th Street.
It's
And-
the triangle,
So you're talking about right in front of Gethsemane?
Yes.
the church. Yep. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. That really small one right there. We're
Yeah,
just gonna
very
hang out.
small.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What we're hoping to do is to do a small event here and the intention is to see like how many people show up. We'll do something bigger. Literally, I was walking my dog. I saw Tyson and Orange Diva. And I said, "What do you want to do?" And she said, yeah, you know, you definitely know, everybody knows Orange Diva. Yes, exactly. And I said, "What do you want to do?" I said, let's just try it out. Let's see what happens. You're interested. I'm interested. We know a handful of people are interested. Let's see what happens. If it gets big, we'll do something bigger. We can always go back and come back here and ask for more money to do something bigger. But yeah. Okay. And maybe that's something we can do. I'm open. I will let you all, your respective commissioners, but I'm certainly open and always going to be supportive of something like that.
I'm very supportive of block parties at Lorenzo Allen Park.
Commissioner Baker, I appreciate you throwing the gauntlet down and challenging all of the commissioners to throw their own block party in their SMDs.
Your work, not mine.
But I just want to put a pin in this and note that this reminds me of the importance of us moving forward to, as a commission, make sure that we get the process going for community grants, how folks in 4D can apply, because this is very in line with also the intention of community grants. And so appreciate you starting off 2025 with that. So
Thank you.
any community comments or questions? Or questions from the commissioners on the Zoom? Okay, I think that was our last item. Are there, before we go to motions and votes, are there any community comments around anything? Any matter? Yes, sir. Sorry, we have someone here in the room and then we will go to Uptown Main Street. Sir, can I, Mr. Miles, right? Can I have you on the mic? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ricardo Miles, supervisor for the Violence Interrupters for NARC. For those who don't know, NARC stands for the National Association for Advancement of Returning Citizens. So we're going to be concentrating on increasing the presence of violence interrupters in Ward 4, each particular neighborhood. We have started groups every other Friday. Our goal is to build our capacity so we can have groups every Friday. Some of the topics are about trauma-informed care, trauma-informed resilience, cognitive behavior theory, rational emotive behavior theory, just helping the community understand how to develop what it takes to move forward in a situation that you have no control over, but yet we have control over ourselves. So turning it back on ourselves, like you said about the accountability, we can't hold law enforcement accountable until we hold ourselves accountable. So it's important to understand us reinforcing this message to curb the violence, to bring forth this interdiction. So again, I just want to reiterate, I was present last week and you all were looking for me. I lost service, so I'm here. I'm Mr. Miles. You're going to be seeing me in the community. NARC's goal is to knock on every door so that the community knows who we are. Because a lot of times, to cover an entire ward takes the reinforcement of the entire community. So we're here. And thank you.
Mr. Miles, I think we have a question for you.
Absolutely.
You mentioned that you all like to knock on the doors of every throughout the ward. So do you have a full team? Do you need volunteers? Or do you guys feel like you have the support you need?
I love that question. We would like all the support because the Violence Interrupters, we're a team of 6 and with a case manager, a program manager, supervisor, etc. But definitely the presence of the community is what's going to make the difference because the shooters are related to the people in the community. So that's why it's indispensable that we knock on the doors. So we haven't done it yet. We're going to start a launch where we're going to knock on every door in Ward 4. And I want you to hold us accountable to that. And we would love all the assistance that you would send our way. Volunteers, definitely. And some potential violence interrupters, because the goal is to replicate ourselves throughout the ward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you share your contact information after the meeting or in the chat or some way? I just
So
wanna
my
be able to
program
connect.
manager has put her number in the chat. I'll make sure that she puts the email address because she can hear me now. So Brittany, definitely put those contacts in the chat for them, please. And now one of us will always be present. I'm gonna make it my business to try to make to all the meetings, if not in person, at least be online, so that we can continue to increase this relationship as a family as a whole for Ward 4.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. I do have direct contact. I'll put that in the chat too, unless you need it right now. Okay, take it. Let's go. 202-579-7284. And if I don't respond, please send me an immediate text. You know, our service is sometimes. I'll definitely respond, especially if you send a text. And my name is Ricardo Miles, supervisor for the Violence Interruption Team. M.I. And that's Ricardo with an I too. You know, it's interesting. I went to school with a guy. His name's Ricardo, and he spelled it with an E. So, you know. All right.
And if you don't mind putting this in the chat group. Oh, right in there.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Brittany, too, for getting that in the chat. Uptown Main Street, you're next on deck.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Good evening, commissioners. I bring good news. We have events planned for April, and some of them are right on Kennedy Street. We have the Earth Day cleanup happy hour. So it is a quick cleanup on Tuesday afternoon. Earth Day, we will provide the supplies. We'll meet at, anybody who comes, just you're free to come. We will have some signups that we will share on the listers. We're going to put up a flyer with a QR code, etc. But you could just show up on Tuesday, April 22nd. Cleanup will give you the supplies, and we will be working on Kennedy Street. That's April the 22nd. On April 26th, big fun event, that's Petworth Porch Fest. But the event is so big that it now has just its own special node on Kennedy Street. There will be music on 7th and Kennedy and 5th and Kennedy, as well as I know some of you as residents have signed up your porches to have bands in Brightwood Park. Now that is Saturday the 26th. The music on porches is from 2 to 5. And then we have some fantastic bands from 5 to 8. That is technically Petworth, at the Petworth Rec Center. Everything is free. Everything is free. Just some fantastic bands. I put the website in the chat, petworthporchfest.org. And the schedule will be there shortly. We have 275 bands. So it'll be a lot of fun. Then we have an event from our sister program on Upshur Street. You're all welcome to go to Upshur on Saturday, April 12th from 12 to 2. It's arts and crafts on Upshur. There will be storytelling for kids at Loyalty Books. You can paint on canvases at Cookieware. You can make a lantern over at Flowers by Alexis, and that is hosted by Mary Pin. It's a great crafting shop up on Georgia Avenue. That is free, adults and kids. That's April 12th from 12 to 2. We're also going to put up posters and things so you can sign up if you're around. But if anybody has any questions, that's what's going on in April.
Thank you so much. That is a jam-packed April. Any quick questions for Uptown Main Street? And appreciate, thank you for putting all that in the chat. We'll capture that. Ms.
Thank
Thurston,
you,
Orange
and I
Diva.
hope people come out.
Oh, thank you so much. Ms. Thurston, are you speaking again?
Yes, I just,
Perfect. You're on next.
yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you Uptown Main Street for that, for the, event information. I love all the events. And also Mr. Miles, because we would like to also ask for people in the community that are doing great things, such as you, to come out on April 12th, and talk about what you're doing. This would be a great time for the local community, the local businesses and activists to come out as well. We will be going around talking to the local businesses about joining us as well that day.
Absolutely. I'm writing down all the events because this is perfect to have myself and the VI team out because this is how we gain familiarity, like you said, as a family and us coming out to know who we are and our neighbors. So definitely want to have presence at all these events. I'm jotting them down as we speak. Yeah.
Great.
No problem.
The definition of community right here. Thank you. Anybody else for community comments before we go to motions and votes? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hi, again, Sharon Johnson, speaking again on Lorenzo Allen Park. They planted a new 2 trees there. Is there anybody to say where these trees get planted or anything? Because it's no symmetric.
I was out of town when you texted me that, so I haven't been able to follow up. I'm sure it's probably too late for those specific trees, but I do know that, trees generally are planted by DDOT's Urban Forestry Division. And we can ask them to coordinate with the group that takes care of the park.
Okay.
In the future. I don't know what exactly that would look like, but we can ask.
Right, okay.
So I'm sorry I didn't follow up
think it
yet.
was Stella who texted you, not me, but
Oh.
we had a conversation.
Okay, one of you texted me about those trees, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did, and I'll be in touch again. So we could all meet in the park and you could get to know us and we could talk about that.
Okay, let's follow up on that. I'll make a note.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, guys. If Commissioner, if you do send out an email to DDOT, the urban team, can you CC me on it so I can also be aware? I'm not sure what the concern was for the trees, but happy to, monitor.
With pleasure. I think my impression is just that the residents would like to be involved in the planting plan.
Right, but also DDOT be the person that we could contact about my driveway. I talked to you about that too, Commissioner.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
Several of these things came in while I was out of town. I'm going to ask
Okay.
forgiveness, but
That's
I do
okay.
have them all noted and I will be following up.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't see any additional hands. So I think we are moving to the last item on our agenda, which is a big one, which is all the motions and votes that we've put off till the end. So the first one being on BZA 21721. This is in SMD 4D08 regarding addition to a building in RA1 zoning. I recommend endorsing the Form 129 that I have submitted and circulated. Let's go ahead and do a roll call.
Commissioner Coscanruta? Aye. Commissioner Abel?
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett?
Aye.
Commissioner Cava?
Aye.
Commissioner Maransik,
Aye.
Dimitrov, aye. Commissioner Baker
Aye.
and Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. The next item, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. The next item is a letter of support on youth residential care home zoning. This is, we just heard about this, and so recommend that the commission endorse the letter that has been submitted. Go ahead and let's have a roll call.
Commissioner Coscan-Ruta. Aye. Commissioner Abel.
Aye.
Commissioner Bloyd.
Aye.
Commissioner Cava.
Aye.
Commissioner Maransik.
Aye.
Commissioner Dimitrov. Aye. Commissioner Baker
Aye.
and Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. The next item is on resolution on reinstatement of MPD officers. Commissioner Abel, I see your hand.
Yeah, I guess first I make a motion that we adopt so that it's on as a question. And then I would like to motion to amend. The first amendment, I've indicated it in the document as a comment. The first amendment would be to the resolve clause. This is the last item, to add myself as one of the named commissioners in all matters related to this resolution.
Motion to approve the amendment.
Is there a second?
Surely seconded.
Roll call?
Commissioner Coscan-Ruta.
Is this for the entire,
This is for the amendment of
Yep.
adding Commissioner Abel's name
Yep,
to
I'll
the,
just abstain.
okay.
Commissioner Abel.
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett.
Aye.
Commissioner Cava.
Aye.
Commissioner Maransik.
Commissioner Maransik?
Aye. Sorry, it dropped off my screen.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dimitrov, abstain. Commissioner Baker
Aye.
and Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. So the motion passes with 6 yeses and 2 abstentions. Is that correct, Secretary?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Commissioner Abel?
Yes, my second motion is also indicated on the document. It would be to replace the first request we're making to instead read, request that MPD immediately terminate the employment of Officer Sutton and Lieutenant Zabowski. Does anyone second?
Point of order, Commissioner Abel?
Yeah.
So in the language of the resolution, we would be striking the words Officer Sutton nor Lieutenant Zabowski be stationed within the 4th District, and instead replacing it with MPD immediately terminate the employment of Officer Sutton and Lieutenant Zabowski. Is that correct?
Correct.
Second.
Roll call?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Oh, I could not hear, sorry.
Sorry.
Aye.
Commissioner Cava.
Aye.
Commissioner Maransik.
Commissioner
Aye.
Maransik?
Aye.
Commissioner Dimitrov. Aye. Commissioner Baker.
Aye.
Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. The motion passes. Did I do my math right? Was that 8? Yes, unanimously. Okay, thank you.
My last motion would be to entirely strike the whereas 5. Yeah.
Second.
Roll call on this amendment? And, sorry, point of order, would somebody like to, I can perhaps articulate what this is. This would be striking the words, whereas police misconduct damages the relationship between police and the communities they serve, and the officers protecting the residents of the District of Columbia must conduct themselves in a manner that builds and restores trust. This entire section would be struck with this amendment. I heard a second, so now we're on roll call.
Commissioner Koskan-Ruta,
Abstain.
Commissioner Abel,
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett,
Aye.
Commissioner Cava,
Aye.
Commissioner Morency,
Aye.
obtain, Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. The motion passes with 7 yeses and 1 abstention.
6 and 2.
6 and 2. I apologize. Thank you for the correction.
Motion to call the question and adopt the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
A roll call?
Commissioner Koskan-Ruta,
Abstain.
Commissioner Abel,
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett,
Aye.
Commissioner Cava,
Aye.
Commissioner Morency.
Aye. And I thank everyone for a robust discussion on this evening.
I agree.
I missed.
He said yes, and that everybody had a robust discussion, and he thanked
Okay.
us.
Yes.
Um,
Commissioner Dimitrov abstained, Commissioner Baker
Aye.
and Commissioner Kaufman,
Aye.
6 and 2.
The motion passes with 6 yeses and 2 abstentions. Thank you, everyone, for, again, the conversation around that and also the procedural patience. Yes.
Point of order, just for awareness. Once the resolution has been officially amended in the document, it will be submitted as written testimony for the performance oversight hearing for Metro PD that is still currently open.
The next item is the resolution on RA1 flexibility. Motion to, yep.
I'd like to move, yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Commissioner Koskan-Ruta,
Aye.
Commissioner Abel,
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett,
Aye.
Commissioner Cava,
Aye.
Commissioner Morency,
Aye.
Dimitrov, aye. Baker, Commissioner,
Abstain.
Commissioner Kaufman,
Aye.
7 to 1.
Okay. The motion passes with 7 yeses and 1 abstention. Okay, the next is the endorsement of Commissioner Blewett's DC Public Library testimony. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to endorse.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Koskan-Ruta,
Aye.
Commissioner Abel,
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett,
Aye.
Commissioner Cava,
Aye.
Commissioner Morency,
Aye.
Commissioner Dimitrov, aye. Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
and Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. The final item is the April 12th block party. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Commissioner Koskan-Ruta,
Aye.
Commissioner Abel,
Aye.
Commissioner Blewett,
Aye.
Commissioner Cava,
Aye.
Commissioner Morency,
Aye.
Commissioner Dimitrov, aye. Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
and Commissioner Kaufman.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. We are at the end of our agenda. It is 8:22, and so our meeting is adjourned. Let us all do the dance that the Orange Diva is doing. Thank you so much for attending. Appreciate it. We'll leave the chat open for a little bit for any last minute announcements or so you can grab things from the chat. Appreciate you so much for attending. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.